Hello, South Carolina Writers Association. This is Author's Corner for the month of August. My name is Kasie Whitener, and I am the host of Write on SC, the South Carolina-based writing radio show, podcast, and craft school. I'm also a member of the South Carolina Writers Association, and we are piloting a program where we invite our SCWA member authors to come on this particular live stream broadcast and talk about their books and tell us a little bit about their writing journey, their path to publishing, things like that. This is about a 30-minute session, so hang in there, and I'm glad you're with me. Today we've got two great authors, Loveley and A.M. Ialacci. You know what? I probably butchered that, Anna, so when you come on, you can tell me how to say it. But we're going to start with Linda, so I'm going to invite her up into the studio. Welcome here, Linda. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
So we're live streaming on Facebook and YouTube through the SCWA accounts right now. What chapter are you a member of with SCWA?
I'm actually outside of the Greenville chapter. So I live in Seneca, and there isn't a local chapter here, but
gotcha. Oh, they
I've gone to
upstate.
many of the national meetings. So
okay, good stuff. Yeah, so outside, so you're one of the independent authors. It's a member of our
right.
statewide organization. Have you tried any of the virtual chapters that are available on the website yet?
I have not, but that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So tell us about your book. So it's called With Neighbors Like These, and I want to know what made you write it. What's it all about? What should people expect when they open it up?
This is the first book in an HOA mystery series. HOA is Homeowner Association. Yeah. And I have lived in 4 homeowner associations. I've been the president of one, I've been a vice president, I've been a secretary, and I've joined a lawsuit against one. So homeowner associations are like small towns in many ways, and passions can run high because the association has the ability to make rules that affect very personal things for people, how right. They live, how they maintain their yards, what color their houses are, etc. And so you have a lot of potential personality conflicts and passions. And so in the first book in the series, With Neighbors Like These, I did not set it in upstate South Carolina where I live. It's set down on the coast. I did that for a couple of reasons. I lived in the Beaufort area for 12 years. I love the area. And the other reason is there are so many HOAs in the Lowcountry. Right. So it was an ideal place to set one. All of the HOAs in the book are fictional. But I'm sure that some of the problems that are explored in the book are real.
So any resemblance to persons living or dead
right,
is simply exactly. A coincidence, right? That's fantastic. So I would never have thought to write a mystery book about an HOA, but I could see where that would definitely lend itself to some drama. So what's the mystery element to this? Like, tell me about the mystery craft piece.
Well, my heroine is a retired Coast Guard investigator, and she lives on a boat in the Beaufort Marina. And one of her childhood friends lives in the area, and he has started a HOA management company. So he manages more than a dozen Lowcountry HOAs. So there is a dead body, and the neighbors are beginning to get worried. They don't know whether it's the result of a feud. And he asks Kylie, the heroine, if she will come on temporarily as a security consultant to investigate.
All right.
And there's quickly reason for her to doubt that it is actually the real reason for this death. And there are many more incidents. And I had a lot of fun with the heroine, who's 50. And as you can tell, I am over 50. And I think that there is a dearth of characters over 50 in books that still can kick butt. So this one can.
I'll agree with that. We just spoke with Dana Ridenauer last week, and I don't know if you know Dana. She's from the Beaufort
Yes.
area as well,
Yeah.
and her character Lexi is one of those. So yeah. those 50-year-old ladies who can still kick butt. I dig it. The website is up here. It's lindalovely.com. That's one of the best places to buy the book. Are there other places you would suggest? Local shops or Amazon?
If you go on my website, I have one of the local bookstores has signed books that they'll send out, or I can autograph them there and send out. But they're also, the publisher has them available through all of the ebook platforms as well as paperbacks.
Right.
Awesome.
And
I was in Beaufort a week ago for a book signing at Macintosh Books.
Oh, yay. We love Macintosh.
Yes, it's a fun place. And I was also at Main Street Reads over in Somerville. And I was supposed to go to Indigo Books, but I ran out of books. Their supply hadn't come in. So I will be back down there and to the Pat Conroy Literary Center at the end of the month.
Yes, PCLC, a big partner of the SCWA. It's all I'm using is acronyms. The Pat Conroy Literary Center, big fans and big supporters of the South Carolina Writers Association. So, all right, Linda, I'm going to push you backstage for just a minute, but hang in there because after I finish talking to Anna, we'll bring you back. All right. Anna, tell me I butchered your last name. Will you please pronounce it for our team?
You were not too far off. It's Ialacci.
Ialacci. Okay, that's easy enough. So, all right, Anna Ialacci, and let me put your website up here real quick so people can find it. The name of your book is Riptide's Wrath and Murder. This is a thriller or a mystery?
It is a mystery. It's
mystery.
a third in series.
Okay, so tell us about the series.
So the series is actually set in North Carolina. I moved here from North Carolina last year. So Carolina, let's just put it that way.
Well, now wait, let me go back real quick. Where's here and what chapter are you associated with?
So I'm in Columbia and I joined post-COVID. So I'm not really affiliated with a chapter yet.
Gotcha. Well, you're welcome to either one of my two, which is Columbia 2 and Columbia 3. We'd be glad to see you live and in person on any of our meetings. I'll send you details later. So, all right, back to the books. So tell us about the series.
So the series is set in coastal North Carolina in Carteret County, Emerald Isle, Atlantic Beach area. I actually moved there from the Midwest in 2013. And so what struck me as an outsider was that each one of these little communities had its own very fierce personality. And so I thought, well, I'll put each story in each one of these little communities and run with that and make the setting another character in the story. So my heroine is a young woman who was a military brat. So she used to live in Carteret County, moved away for a while, and now she's back. She's taking care of her autistic brother because their parents died in a car accident. And she gets pulled into these investigations because she used to be a fraud investigator for one of the credit bureaus. But Riptide's Wrath and Murder is the third in series, and it features a surfer who dies under mysterious circumstances. So
another murder, huh?
Yes.
You mystery writers and your murders, death everywhere. Okay,
yes.
We're going to talk about craft here in a minute when we bring Linda back. So where does this character come from? Did you know her? Has she been in the back of your head for a while?
No, I served on jury duty. And I had, a few ideas about where I wanted this story to take place, but I didn't really have a character. And so one of the young ladies that I served on the jury with, I was just kind of watching her one day, and I said, you know what, she would be a good basis for a character. So it was great.
All right, I love it. Riptide's Wrath and Murder. Where can people buy it?
It's available on Amazon. So you can go to my website and go from there, or you can search for Crystal Coast Case on Amazon, or by title Riptide's Wrath and Murder.
And do people need to read the first two in the series to understand what's happening in the third?
No, if you check out the reviews, most people say, this is my first, and I can't wait to read the other two. And so it's nice to read them in order, but you definitely don't have to.
All right, we're going to talk about the series thing here in a minute too, because Linda's working on book 2, I'm sure, by this point. We've got a couple of comments. People just saying hi. Hi, everybody. All right, let's bring Linda in and let's talk a little bit about craft. Okay, look, y'all, I don't read mysteries. These are not my genre at all. So what I want to do is be like, convince me to read a mystery. But I know they're really good. I know people love them. They dive right in, they jump in. So let's start with you, Anna, and then Linda. Did you read mysteries growing up? Has this always been your genre? And if so, does it feel like a comfortable place to write?
For me, it does. I grew up reading Nancy Drew. And as I got older, my mom always read a lot of mysteries. And so we watched a lot of mysteries, Murder, She Wrote every Sunday. And so as I got older, I found my own niche. Sometimes I would read historical mystery. I went the Scandinavian route, and I love Scandinavian crime mysteries to this day.
So that's like the girl with the dragon tattoo and all that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's the book I read that I was like, I'm done here. I am done with mysteries. Thank you very much. Moving on.
there are others that are a little less, graphic. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's home. It's the stories that I grew up reading and listening to. And, I did try to write a science fiction novel once, and it was far too easy.
Wow. Okay. All right. What about you, Linda? Did you read novel or did you read mysteries growing up? Is this your jam?
I read many things. I'm in a book club too, which forces me outside of my genre for reading. Otherwise, I would read mysteries, thrillers all the time. So you should be in a book club, Kasie, that has at least one month a year that makes you read a mystery.
I tell you what, I get kicked out of book clubs. There's I've like multiple times I've given talks. I even gave a talk at the Pat Convery Literary Center about how to get kicked out of a book club because I've been kicked out of so many. So it's not that I haven't tried. It's that when I do get in them, people don't appreciate my my level of enthusiasm. Mostly they were wine clubs that wanted to pretend they were book clubs. And I was like, why didn't you read the book? So Linda, you mentioned something interesting though, when you bring up book clubs. Did you market your book with Neighbors Like These to book clubs? And we'll start with Linda and then Anna.
It just came out, so I really haven't done much yet. But this is my 9th novel. So this is the first in this series, but I've written 8 other books. I had a cozy mystery humorous series that was set in upstate South Carolina. The heroine in that one was a vegan chef who lives on her carnivorous aunt's goat farm, and they battle about dinner as well as in the first book a pig digs up the aunt's long lost husband.
Wow.
And so there are many varieties of mystery, and you might find one you like, Kasie, because I write humorous mysteries. I have, like Anna, I like historical. I have a historical mystery that's set in my town, and I'm hometown, and I'm also from the Midwest originally. And I've written also romantic suspense thrillers. So
I do read those. I do read romance because I read romance novels almost exclusively, and I do read some romance suspense. So then tell me this: you have written stories that were in the upstate. Did you find that your readers like reading about the area that they're in?
Oh yeah, that's true also for the Lowcountry. The advantage of the Lowcountry is you have so many tourists going through that have been there and seen it and want some souvenir of it, and more of that than in the upstate or Columbia.
Yeah, so, I can see that.
You have legislatures that are going through.
Anna, if you are putting your book in a book club, is it likely they're going to read the whole series, do you think? Have you done any book club marketing?
I haven't really. I did have. I did speak with a book club about one of the novels, but I think it was the first one. So I don't know if they're going to continue on with others in the series, but that was fun.
Okay, good stuff. So what did you do primarily to get those books out in the first place? First, tell me, how did you decide to publish? And then what did you get help as far as the publishing aspect is concerned? And then how did you put it out to market? And we'll go with Anna, and then we'll come to Linda after that.
I'm indie published. I was really lucky because the first book that I put out, I was part of a group of authors. We were all writing. We had a series of novellas that were all set in the same town. With the same premise, but we all wrote our own stories. And so they kind of took me under their wing and said, this is how you do it. So it was trial by fire. And I learned very quickly, this is the process of how to get your books out there and stuff. And so from there, I started the series, the first book of which I started writing in 2014. So it's been a learning process. I'm still learning, but it's a challenge, and I love a challenge. So,
yeah. So now, are you going to events? Are you at book festivals? Are you doing social media? All the social media things?
Yep.
Yeah.
Everything that time allows for.
It's just exhausting, right? Just putting the book out there is totally exhausting. Can't wait to go back into my cave and start writing again. What about you, Linda? What's your publishing path, and how have you been marketing?
Well, I was a journalism major in college, so I've always written for a living and started writing fiction when I didn't have to make money.
Ooh, that's a good time to start writing fiction.
So I have been predominantly traditionally published with medium to small publishers. My current publisher is Level Best Books. Henry Press published the last Cozy series. My first publisher was L&L Publishing, another small publishing company that was great, but the problem with small publishers is, in this case, one of the owners died, and
Oh, no.
then you have the situation where people may not feel like they can continue. So I have independently published that historical suspense because I wasn't planning a series and I didn't think I could sell it, and wanted to do that for basically my hometown and my family. So I've done both. I like traditional publishing because I actually like deadlines, and also having help with, I like editors. I'm used to working with them, have all my life. So I think they improve the book. And it's also nice to have the publishing details taken care of, but you're still mostly on your own for marketing. And, it's a tough road out there with so many people published.
Yeah, there's so many books. That's what we were talking about earlier today, that, publishing a book or launching a book is not news. So even if you send out a press release, nobody cares, right? But you have to figure out, like, what's the angle here? What makes my book different, or what makes my book special? So it can be a little bit more challenging. So let's talk a little bit about how the role of your writer critique groups or your writer community has worked for you. So Anna, you made a little bit of mention of having that group that you were reliant on. Did you seek out beta readers with your texts? Do you do that? And talk a little bit about that process and how you get feedback and how you iterate those revisions.
So that group was great. We have since disbanded, but I still use those ladies as an incredible resource. In fact, one of them is my editor. She is an editor, but also an author, and she's just fantastic to work with. And it was a small world because she actually went to my dad's tiny Catholic high school in Ohio. So it was like, wow, this is crazy. But yeah, so I've got her. I found a fantastic cover artist just kind of randomly, and she's stuck by me, and she's just amazing and really great to work with. And I have a crew that I get together with. We've been getting together since COVID started every Tuesday night on Zoom. And we read a page or two and give critical feedback, and it's been fantastic. And sometimes we go on retreats as well. In fact, I'm going to Italy with them in October. Fingers crossed. So for a week.
You're like retreat, and I'm like, oh, you mean like Asheville? She's like, Italy.
Yeah.
Oh,
a lifelong
okay.
dream. So yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's awesome to make those author friends and be that close with them. That's awesome. So my editor's the same way. She came to a writers group I was a member of, and she said, "You need to come to my writers group." And she brought me to the SCWA meeting, and then we became very, very good friends, and we've edited each other's work for a very long time. And so she knows my books as well as I do, which is super amazing. Linda, what about you? Do you have a community that supports you? Some other writers that you're hanging out with, beta readers that are taking a first glance?
Absolutely. A number of beta readers. Cindy Sample and I were with our first publisher back 10 years ago. And she decided to go the independent route after the publisher ended, and has done very well. But we still beta read each other's stuff. And I'm embarrassed to say that our retreat was at my house this last weekend.
Don't be embarrassed. Your house must be awesome.
Any retreat is great.
Lasagna for everybody, but
I love
that was
it.
as far as the Italian went. So
that's perfect. We're building this big back deck and a screened-in porch, and like all of my neighbors have been coming by and like looking at it and going, "So when are you having a party at your house?" So it's fine if you're the entertaining type. I think that works exactly perfectly.
well, we've done, because of COVID, we did it at our houses this
Right.
year, but normally we do go to the beach for our retreats. But we also have one male member in our group, Howard Lewis, who is fantastic, and I would recommend any woman that is writing should have at least one male critique partner,
Right.
because he will tell me, "Linda, no man would ever say that," or you find out the viewpoints are just different, and if you want to get it even close, that's a big help. So
Yeah, I'll agree with that. We have so we had an episode on the radio show. We called it sensitivity beta readers, right? People that are looking for what you may have left out, things that might be derogatory representations of different ethnic groups or different social groups and things like that. And but really, it's a matter of looking at things from a 365-degree angle instead of simply through our own like echo chamber. And you've got two people, Lorraine and Howard, who both said it was an awesome retreat and that Linda makes the best lasagna. So now I'm going to expect lasagna and payment, Linda, for having like, "Hey, remember that time that we were on the YouTube?" And so glowing results here, glowing results. Let's talk a little bit about the characters. So I asked you both individually about these characters, and you both have female protagonists, which seems to make sense being a female writer, right? What are you trying to do with this gal? Is she strong? Is she quirky? Is she broken in some way? Like what's the purpose of this female protagonist? Why did you pick her? And really, how does she come off the page? And I kind of was thinking, as you guys as mystery writers, to kind of give a little insight into the genre. Do we get a lot of female protagonists in this genre or not? And kind of just riff off of that, if you will. Let's let Anna start, but then Linda, I want you to jump in here and like, let's make it a conversation.
Sure. I feature strong female characters. It's pretty much just, it was my upbringing. It's my mom and how I was raised. Those are the kind of people that I'm attracted to in my personal life. As a reader, I don't like weak female characters, so that's not something I would write ever. So this is one of my series, but I have a couple others that I've started, and it's a running theme throughout that I have these strong female characters. And so this particular one, her name is Allie Fox, and she, she's having to take on the care of her brother, and she's been away for about 9 years. And so she's relearning, how to care for her brother and what his needs are and how to communicate with him. And, that comes from, my son is on the autism spectrum. And so, showing that those relationships are rewarding, but also can be very challenging. And so that's, in this series, that's a major crux, and hopefully readers have responded to their relationship. And so I think that's a really important aspect of this series in particular.
Good stuff. Linda, but what about you? Your main character and some of the flaws or the challenges that she's experiencing?
again, like Anna, all of my female characters are strong. One of my complaints with a lot of romance books is that the conflict between, there always has to be a bunch of conflict between the heroine and the hero, and you finally get to the end and happy ending. But if they just talk to each other, they could solve almost all of their problems.
Right. I have that same problem with romance novels.
And I, in my romantic suspense and in my books, there is, I can't help it, some romance and some humor sneaks into almost everything that I write. But my women characters do talk to their heroes in the book, and they're partners and equals. They are not looking for the men to save them. So that's sort of a theme across all 9 of my books, that these are strong, independent women. And again, like Anna, my mom raised me that way. And that's how their outlook is. And also that age is not a deterrent from being intelligent and being able to solve problems.
And you mentioned before that choosing the age of this character, making her 50 plus, right? That you saw that there was a dearth of that. There wasn't a lot of that in the mystery genre or in fiction in general.
Well, there is a dearth of older characters that are not, there are too many Miss Marple types that are old, doddering, spinsters. They have hobbies, but they don't exercise. They're not like the 50 plus people I know.
Right.
So I think that, I mean, there are a bunch of books that I enjoy where the characters are physically challenged. They may be older. They may be 70s, 80s, and still sharp minds, etc. I have no problem with that, but I would like to see more books with people in their 50s and 60s that are still vibrant, active participants.
Yeah. I can agree with that, because we either have this like young, brand new FBI agent, this is her first case ever, or we have Miss Marple, to your point, right? So there's this like huge gap of the female cliches, as opposed to having maybe a 36-year-old mom, right? That has, okay, I got to take my kids to school, and then I'll come over here and I'll work on solving this mystery. So it'd be pretty interesting to see how those characters, if we could see those women come forward as well, that have an equal interest in solving crimes or helping their community in that particular way. All right, what's with murder? Like, what's the deal here? Because both of your books have these murders in them, and that's my other thing on the mystery side. I'm like, is it all like the stakes are always so high? Like, death is the stakes, right? So it's a little exhausting. So let's start with the murder. Why the murder? Are there multiple in the book? Like, I know you can't really give it away, but I mean, what's the deal with that? Anna, you go first.
Go ahead, Linda.
Well, one of the reasons that I really like mysteries and thrillers is that it all comes out right in the end, and people get their just desserts. So there is so much in society where that doesn't happen, and mysteries fill that void. You can read a book and you come to the end and you say, well, some terrible things happen, but gosh darn it, the people that needed to be punished were punished or caught. And that's why I really dislike mysteries where I have no one to cheer for.
Right.
And there are some that have been very popular that I have disliked immensely, because I thought none of the characters were people I would like to even sit down to dinner with.
Right. It can be hard to get through a whole book when you're thinking, I don't care who wins this story.
Exactly.
Yeah. What do you think, Anna? What's the deal with murder?
I think it's just so it's so much a part of the genre. It's actually pretty rare to, in my experience, to find a mystery that doesn't revolve around murder. And I think, part of it has to do with societal expectations. I mean, every mystery show that you see on TV it's not somebody stealing jewels. It's somebody died, because like you said, the stakes are high. and that's the hook. But to Linda's point, I read a friend's book a couple of years ago, and it was labeled as a mystery, and yet at the end, the guy got away with it, and I was so frustrated and angry. I couldn't even articulate, that you can't do that. So yes,
well,
I agree.
But there isn't always a murder in some of the suspense.
That's true.
One of mine, I know it starts out with somebody's trying to kill this woman, and she has no idea why. So there can be the suspense angle of, are they going to get away with it? Who is it? So you may not actually have a corpse every time.
But you make a good point though, Anna and Linda, because you're talking about the expectations of the genre. So when you're writing in a particular genre, there are expectations because your readers have read other lines of this genre and they're expecting your book to meet those expectations. So does that feel comfortable in terms of like, I know what I'm going to write and it helps me sort of stay on the track? Or does that feel confining? Like someday I'd like to break my way out of this genre and write something else.
Well, I think it really helps my psychology to be able to get rid of all of my frustrations filling out a few people in the book. So, and not doing it in person, that's fiction.
Kill people on the page. Yeah, I got you. That's
no,
great.
I don't. I enjoy it. I don't feel confined by it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Anna? Same?
I agree. It goes back to middle school algebra, A plus B equals C, and I'm in the groove. So, if my expectations are there and I can plug things in as I go, it helps me as a writer. But yeah, it's very comfortable for me to have those expectations in place. And no, I don't expect to to flaunt any of those because.
All right. So the one that we've got now is Riptide's Wrath and Murder. It's the third one in the series. They can see all of the series on your website. So I'm going to put that banner up too. What are you working on next? Have you started the next one?
Yes. And I'm actually about halfway through. And I expect to publish it by the end of September. So book.
Wow, that's fast.
Yeah. Where's on the way?
Okay. You're one of those like hyperactive during COVID type writers, right?
No, not at all. But I actually was hoping to have it published by the end of August, and I had to push it back to the end of September. So,
well, see, none of us knew that. All of us thought that was like, wow, that's immediate. That's so fast. All right, good stuff. Riptide's Wrath and Murder on sale now on Amazon and also on Anna's website. And with Neighbors Like These on Linda Loveley's website, the first in the series. Have you started the second one yet? Is that what's on your list?
My contract, I have a 3-book contract, so the next one is due in December. So
deadlines, like you said, deadlines. That's perfect. All right. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for being part of this, for being part of our South Carolina Writers Association, representative of the upstate, and also a new transfer from North Carolina. Thank y'all both for being part of the SCWA. Thank you to the SCWA for having Authors Corner once per month. If you want to be on Authors Corner, just fill out the form. It's in the Quill. All you have to do is reopen your Quill newsletter, and you'll see the form right there, and you can fill it out and apply to be part of this. Thanks, ladies. I will see you all. See you around. Happy writing.